Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Amen. Glad to have you back, man. I knew you were okay, but others were worried. Seek the sky. Good morning. We are gonna get into it today. Hopefully, I don't have to replay a bunch of stuff, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It all depends on where they start me. I didn't quite get the Master Sword. Okay, good. Oh, awesome. They start me right here. The King of the Twilight. That is an awesome title. King of the Twilight. I like that. Can't dig up there. Can't catch my bugs. We'll see how this goes. This puzzle right here. Man, I just gotta say, Zelda's Lullaby, like, the whole, like, music aspect of these games, when that started with Ocarina of Time, I remember very specifically my friend showing me how, like, you could cut a signpost down, and then play Zelda's Lullaby, and it would, like, fix again. I don't know, it's something magical about that as a kid. Look at these guys. We are guardians of this land. Well, it's not really... guide us. Only you can enter the sacred grove. Okay. Oh, oops. Should not have done that. What happens if that happens again? Okay, good. I'm gonna get them symmetrical here. Yeah. Hey, Nugan Plus. See ya. Oh, dang it. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, fix the signs is really kind of nice little Easter egg, I guess if you want to call it that. Shoot. I think yeah. I think I'm stuck, actually. I think I walked myself into a bit of a corner here. Yep. Now, let's see how long this takes me. I don't remember this being too difficult, but... I'm glad you showed up for this episode, Eamon. Okay. We have to get them... I have to move myself in a way so that they... I'm about to do the same thing again. Yeah, I am. Okay, don't want to do that. Yeah. Okay, but one of them needs to be Okay. This is good. Yes, this is good. This is what we want. There we go. We did it. I think we did it. So then we do this. And boom. My proudest gaming achievement. We'll get the Master Sword before we start talking about goings-on the interwebs. Go to the sacred place, beast. Okay, so this is where Kasuda's story starts getting insolified. You mean like, what do you mean by insolified? Best video game weapons, most iconic video game weapons. Sword accepted you as its master. And now he has the scabbard. Yeah, it comes with it, you know, it's just, you know, just always there. Where the goddess statue once stood, the ancient pedestal that once bore the goddess sword, the high hero Twilight raises the master sword again. It's funny because, like, I think we're what, like a quarter of the done with the game. Like, there's still a lot of game left, and already we're at the they like fully give you the ability to swap, which I think was a cool and probably wise design choice. Now you're gonna spend the rest of the game fully realizing the whole swap between Wolf Link and Link. Alright, so yesterday I think it was we have to talk about this because it's just such a prominent discussion happening right now on the internet. The internet does not, of course, reflect what a large number of people actually think. But was it Sony had their state of play, and they released footage of the new God of War game, and it's called God of War Lufe? I think that's the name of it. What's the name of Kratos' wife in the two new God of War games? Someone help me out here. I want to try to organize my thoughts with this one because it is worth talking about. But I'm also trying to figure out how to get up here, and I know there is a way. But for some reason... Oh, there's... Okay. I'm gonna have to push something. Give me a snail. I caught a snail. How do I get up there? Do I warp back here at some point? In the bustle of Twilight. In the bustle of Castletown. There we go. Alright, hang on, I'll look it up. I'll look up the name of Kratos' wife. Laofe. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Aim. Think of how Odin pronounced the name of Loki's real father in the Marvel movies. I don't remember how he pronounced it. Laofe. So, okay, so yeah. Now, my... my take on this, I'll just go with my take first. My take on this whole thing has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you actually played the game before. So, I have not played I've not played any God of War games. But I know Kratos. Sorry, I did it again. I know Kratos. And I know that when I think of God of War, I think of Kratos. And my whole point was basically like, when you take a popular character and then you swap them out for another character, it doesn't matter if it makes sense in the story, okay? That's something that people are like completely overlooking in my argument. This is at a very, very basic level. This is culture and politics and all that stuff aside. Very basic level. If you take a very, very popular character and you remove them from a game and replace them with a less popular character, people tend to not like that. That's all I'm saying. At a very, very basic level. And I was trying to explain that. And, I got called a scumbag. I got called, disingenuous. I got called a grifter. And because people are like front-loading this debate here with their own preconceived notions of what the other side thinks, what they think the other side thinks. So, hang on. So when they hear someone not respond positively to this news that this new female protagonist, Lao Fei, is in the God of War, they immediately think, oh, the only reason this person is responding, quote-unquote, negatively is because they just don't like female protagonists. End. And there is a little bit of that happening on the other side, too, where anyone who says, hey, this is a great idea, the other side, there is a segment of the other side saying that if you like this or don't see anything wrong with putting Lao Fei as the protagonist, then you're just a woke progressive leftist. Both of those to a certain extent, and I will say not the majority of players, are true. Both of those two extremes. There are some people on one side of it who just do not like female protagonists. Period. I think that is a minority of people. And there are some on the other side who just see any kind of what they perceive as progressive messaging, and they immediately like it. Like, one person literally told me on X that just because other people don't like this, they will love this game. They said, I'll pick up this game and I'll love it. And I said, well, you don't know that. You don't know you're going to love it. It could have a really bad story, or it could have just horrible gameplay. You're just saying you'll love it as a way to own the other side when you have absolutely no idea if you're going to love it. And because of that, this person will probably force themselves to love the game no matter what and think that there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's like, that can happen. I think that happened with Metroid Prime 4. Like, I wanted to love Metroid Prime 4, but I couldn't. So, anyway. Her name is Faye. Not Lo Faye. Oh, Faye. Okay, I'll just call her Faye from now on. Anyway, so just wanted to get that out of the way. So my whole argument was basically, you remove a popular character, people tend not to like that. And a lot of people couldn't get over the fact of like, well, it makes sense in the story. Well, Ciri, it was naturally supposed to, in the story of, because I brought up when you think of The Legend of Zelda, you think of Link. When you think of Witcher, you think of Geralt. When you think of God of War, you think of Kratos. When you think of so many other games, there's usually one particular gaming cultural icon that is way more popular than any other character in that game. And it has absolutely, not absolutely, it has little to do with where the story is going or who the next protagonist is going to be. And I like, in the case of The Witcher, even if you only played Witcher 3, it is very clear they're setting up Ciri as the protagonist. So from a story perspective, it makes sense. But that doesn't change the fact that everybody loves Geralt. Okay, Geralt is in like a number of other games that have that are just him as like a cameo in a franchise. Ciri isn't. Okay? Ciri is important to the Witcher story, but as a gaming cultural icon, she is far from the popularity that Geralt is. Now, okay, Eamon brings up a very good point here, because this is something that is very important. The real problem Sony are facing is whether or not the modern audience will show up. Sure, they love showing support online, but that doesn't translate to sales. Yes, that is true. So, this hints at the issue that I want to bring up now. There is a trend, okay? And I think if you ignore this, I think if you ignore this aspect, you are doing so intentionally. There is a trend in gaming, or I'd say in many AAA game studios that want to promote what I would call modern sensibilities, in taking out a classic male protagonist and replacing it with a younger female protagonist. Okay, and this is not just in video games. Okay, it's not in every video game and movies, because there's a ton of video games, movies, and TV shows out there. But there does seem to be a trend of that. I mean, we had it with Star Wars. We had it with Indiana Jones. There's charts online that people have been sharing recently. I'll name a few right here. Bookmarks. Okay, yeah, so The Witcher's gonna be one. God of War is gonna be one. The Last of Us. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Yotai. Hades. What's this one? Uncharted. And someone even put Hollow Knight on there, but I don't think that's that's fair, because you need the idea is you have an established series with a long-running male protagonist, and then they get swapped over to a female protagonist. Ratchet and Clank is another one. And again, like, it's just a small sample, but there does seem to be in very many prominent, very popular franchises. We see this happening. I'm not going to count Echoes of Wisdom because I don't see any kind of trend setting there right now for that. I think, yeah, we'll see Zelda in another game, in another mainline Zelda game as a playable protagonist, but I definitely think the next one's going to be Link. Echoes of Wisdom was a one-off. Yeah, I mean, people brought that up, and like, someone was like, well, why are you saying... That's another thing. And maybe this is my own communication. I'm making observations about what I see, okay? I said nothing. I used no moral language. Even just now when I'm explaining that trend, I'm not using moral language to describe this trend in replacing male protagonists with female protagonists. I'm just saying it's happening, and that's it. Okay? Whether or not you agree with or why it's happening, that's a completely different discussion. The game can still be great with the switch in place. Hollow Knight Silksong was deliberate, another side, another story case. Yeah, I agree. And again, they set it up with the story, which is another aspect of it. Did the story set it up, or is it forced into the story? Which is, again, another aspect that's completely different than the whole gaming cultural icon. You know, Luke Skywalker was a cultural icon, and then we'll replace them with with Rey, who nobody knows about and nobody cares about. Of course, people are going to be upset. Like, that's not making that observation and saying that they shouldn't have done that is not. It's not misogynist. It's just, you know, Disney had to know that this is what they were going to face. And it's a choice and a risk. They were trying to make their own IP. If they switched, it didn't matter if it was Rey or Finn or, you know, male or female, doesn't matter. When you replace a beloved icon with another character, you have to get audience buy-in. And if the story doesn't set up for it, and if it's completely out of the blue, it's going to be even worse. The reception is. That's basic. It's basic fact, I feel. You know, and anyone saying otherwise, you know, it's not. They shouldn't. It's like they shouldn't do that on the level of, if they're trying to make money, it's probably best to play it safe. But, you know, some franchises need something fresh. Okay. Now, the other question is, are they doing it because they feel they need more female representation in video games? I would say yes. I definitely think that is one motivation for a lot of this. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay? I'm trying to leave moral language out of it. I want this gold. The problem is with this pattern that people seem to be recognizing of oh, didn't get it? The pattern of, like, the whole modern, like, catering to the modern audience is a pattern, and it's quite obvious at this point, and it's frustrating when a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you're just a misogynist." It's like, well, no, I'm recognizing a pattern here, and I think along with the addition of a female protagonist comes a whole mess of other ideologies that work its way into the game itself. It's not just that there's a female protagonist, it's that there just seems to be other ways that the character interacts with characters of the opposite sex, or other ideas that creep into the game. Like, I mean, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the... Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny had some, you know, anti-capitalist messaging that had messaging that, you know, people didn't like about, like, the whole Tomb Raider debate of raiding tombs and and restoring cultures, their own artifacts and things like that. Just, again, messaging that aligned heavily with one side of the political cultural debate. It's not just one thing. Hang on. I'll take this moment to gather my thoughts, and I'll read some chats as I blow this up. See, New Game Plus. It's not that people don't know about Rey, it's that there's nothing to know. Yeah, exactly. She's a non-character, and which says nothing about her the fact that she's a girl or the fact that she's a woman. They wrote a very poor character. They wrote a Mary Sue who there's really nothing to her. Kasudo just left here for the desert after getting the magic from Araru. I gotta kill these Tektites. This is a long cave. Yeah, it is. Jeez. I didn't realize it was gonna be this long. Tim said, T-Bon says, I agree about Rey. They could be thinking long-term here in a way. Those lamp oil chews. Oh, those are lamp oil chews. Okay, that's why I couldn't do that. Yeah, and that's the thing. They're trying to set up. They're trying to set up a new timeline for Faye, which again is fine. That's not an issue. They just have to realize that it's not wrong for a player to say, I really like Kratos. I was looking forward to playing as Kratos, and now that I'm not playing as Kratos, I'm kind of not as interested in buying this game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It has nothing to do with cultural or political sensitivities. It is just simply, this character's popular, he's a big draw for the series, and Sony probably knew that not playing as Kratos was going to cause that reaction in people. It'd be the same discussion if it wasn't Faye. Well, not sorry. It'd be a slightly different discussion, but the same thing, the same like disinterest in the game would happen if instead of playing as Kratos or Faye, it was some other character, a male other character. Like even just this morning, nothing in my I laid out my argument as like bland as I could, and someone just this morning accused me of people like me being have a problem with female protagonists. It's like I didn't say anything about that. This person is the one putting that on me unfairly, because they have a particular view of their political cultural opponents that they immediately throw on to anyone who disagrees with them. Or doesn't celebrate this in a particular way. It's frustrating. It's frustrating trying to have just a calm conversation about possible reasons why people might not like a big change to a video game. Great. It won't fit in my wallet. I'll put it back. Like, the game could turn out to be great. You know, it could be an incredible game with an incredible story. The thing is, though, because of the way that a lot of, and I will say, progressive messaging, people making games with a particular worldview in mind, and it comes out in the way that they do art. That's really what people mean by woke. Woke does, you can identify certain aspects of games that are quote unquote woke. There is a way to do that. It's not as ambiguous of as a term as people want to make it out. But simply having looking at a game and saying, "Oh, there's a female protagonist, therefore it is woke," that's wrong. You should not do that. You know, a game can have a male protagonist and still have progressive ideologies baked into the game, and that's what woke means: progressive ideologies baked into a game. It's not an ambiguous term. Oh, can I come back here? I didn't check out that other path. Ugh. I'll run all the way back here. Okay, hang on. I gotta catch up with the chat here. I think at the end of the day, Sony is dead set on creating a movie game. Yeah, I like Fleekazoid had a good video on where he threw the movie game stuff around. Personally, I haven't seen any reason to buy a PlayStation 2 since PS2. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh, really? It starts at the beginning? Okay. I'll pay attention now to where I'm walking. Tim's T-Bun says, perhaps they're thinking that they may get some people to pick up a game that wouldn't otherwise. A form of grip, to be sure, but still. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. It's appealing to, it's not just appealing to a modern audience, it's appealing to a wider audience. But one, it's a, you know, they think if they work in certain certain aspects of gameplay, that they'll draw in more players. Which ultimately, though, like, and this is a sad thing, female protagonists have been insanely popular in video games forever. And I'm not just talking about the female protagonists that are, you know, more objectified. Like, Samus is insanely popular. Zelda is insanely popular, even though, you know, you rarely get to play as her. And to say that there are no female protagonists in gaming that are popular, so therefore we have to make more, that's also wrong. And I know that there is a push to try to get more to appeal to more women in games. But I don't necessarily think that that's something. There's not much more that they can do other than tweaking the story. I think that there's that tweaking the story in a way that appeals more to women. But hang on, I don't want to miss anything here. And New Game Plus says, if you ask me, I'd recommend turning back and coming back later when your wallet isn't so full. Okay, I will listen to you, Seek the Sky. I don't know when my wallet will not be full, though. Maybe I should go buy some things. But I think that's true in everyone's heart. Yeah, exactly. You're trying to. Well, obviously, if you make a game or a movie or write a book, you want it to appeal to as many people as possible. But there's a difference between compromising story, your own values, or gameplay just so that the appeal can happen. Like, I think that that's the problem that Metroid Prime 4 ran into. They were trying to appeal to a wider audience, and they had to compromise a lot of what made Metroid Metroid. And Samus Samus. Oops. Oops. Ugh. What's this last note I'm missing? Oh. It's up there. Oh, dang it. Yeah. Eamon says, it is usually futile to try to talk facts, logic, or reason to people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority in their ignorance. That is true. Someone posted a post, like, this quote was going around, this tweet was going around yesterday. Someone screenshotted it, and it just said, and there was a post on X and said, this site is fun if you don't like anything. And that, you know, you can't, you know, it's not like I didn't expect this kind of reaction, but it's and it's possible, like, you're just encountering a rage bot, which is on there for sure, but I don't know, it just baffles me sometimes. That's the most boring grotto exit transition ever. You can call me Tim, that's okay. Okay. Okay, good. World's view comes through art. Communication is part of the reason we make art. Yeah, to communicate. Like, if I were to make a game, there, you know, I would try to make the best game possible with what I believe to be proper gaming mechanics and whatnot, and through that, through the story especially, you know, narrative happen, that the discussion usually happen. Sorry, communication usually happens through narrative, especially in stories. I think it's really hard to not communicate anything about yourself when you're telling a story. Or sorry, when you're creating a story. So I think that like, I agree in some sense that happens naturally, but I think it is true to restrain a lot of how you tell the story so that you can explore different angles of it. Yes, I do. Alright, we gotta go find his cannon. Oh no, wait. That's later. Alright, hang on. Seek This Guy says, if the whole Chuds Hate Femme Protags thing was true, Glitch Productions will be making no money. Hey, morning, old wolfman. By the way, that quote is slightly edited from Thomas Sowell, really smart guy. Oh yeah, he is a smart guy. This song is not named. Oh, really? Interesting. Great, sounds like you gave us some good topics. You did. It is scripted to be evening now. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Huh, yeah, it just turned night. Should probably kill this thing, too. Come here, you little monster. Tim says, I once heard it put this way, when you write a story, let your character tell you what happened. Yeah, exactly. Which is really, really hard to do, I imagine. Which is a problem in a lot of like modern storytelling. Often you can tell whether it's you can tell what a character is going to do next based on, or characters are going to behave based on what you know about the screenwriter, which is, or the writer, which is a big problem, I think. Okay, Araru, the path leading to the desert is impassable. Kasuto, who may be in next in the world. So that's what Poes look like. But what genies look like. Interesting. Yeah, and you know, there is the whole trend of hyper realism in video games. Another issue another issue that comes out, and I do think this is again part of the modern sensibilities of the creators coming out, is that certain sorry, I don't know how to say this next trend. Yeah, okay, I'll just say it. There is a trend of certain particularly female protagonists being portrayed in a non-conventionally attractive way. Not all, but just some. Like if you look at some female protagonists in the more hyper-realism, photorealistic video games, some of them look almost exactly like their voice actress. With men, like in the guy who plays the main protagonist in Star Wars Jedi Outcast. Man, his character model looks exactly like the voice actor. I forget his name. He's a really good actor too, or at least he was in Gotham. But then in some instances, when it comes to some female protagonists, it appears they kind of, I don't know how to put it. Uglification is not the word I want to use. They just make them more bland, less Hollywood looking, if you will. There's charts on this online where you can see the comparisons. And again, it is a trend that's happening. It's not necessarily good or bad, but it does reflect a certain view on how you think people should be portrayed in media. And right now the trend is voice actors should look exactly like the character model. That's one. And two, there does seem to be like a push towards less conventionally attractive women in the gaming space as a portrayal. It's not, for some reason it's not happening with men. Maybe because men have always run the spectrum of being ugly and also being handsome in all gaming. Again, this is, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying this is happening, and I think there's evidence for it. If you want to make the argument whether it's good or bad, that's a completely different topic, which I kind of don't want to get into. He said I gotta pay, but I didn't pay anything. See, this guy says, you just have to have the writer's insanity to know what characters would say or think. What's writer's insanity? I like that term. Eamon says, Western AAA devs seemingly incapable of creating a one-on-one character models based on the face model actresses. They always uglify him. So I will say, with the case of Faye, you know, looking at the actress, they've been putting up a lot of comparisons to actress, and you know, I think it is a valid point to say, like, listen, in the headshots pictures, she's looking as best as possible. She has the makeup on, whatever. But you wouldn't expect that in God of War. In a God of War setting, in a you know, an ancient setting like that, they wouldn't have makeup. So I think it's fine to portray her without makeup. I mean, men, if you think that women can't make themselves look completely different by using makeup, women can make themselves look completely different by using makeup. So I think it's totally fine to say, like, that's just what the actress looks like without makeup. It's fine. Hang on, we got some lore talk here. Back to cultural war stuff in a second. Eventually, the most came to call it Twilight Realm, and from it, none could return to the world of Twilight. They were forever doomed to live in Twilight, flitting in the half-light of the Dusk, mere shadows of Hyrule. This is the history of the Twilight, as has been passed down from our ancestors. Do you understand what I am? Yeah, we know. It was a peaceful place until Zant took control of the Twilight Realm and transformed. The Shadow Beasts. I want to see more connections between the banished Sheikah and the Twilight people. The goddess forbade us to return to the world of light. They left one link between the light and the darkness. The mirror of Twilight. It's the only path to Twilight, and we must get there. You'll come with me, won't you? I got nothing better to do. Okay, hang on. Let's catch up here. Here, I'm not sure I have a problem. Are you referring to the Fae character, Tim? I think people associate it with the game Concord. Yeah, Concord, man. What a debacle that was. If I were one of those actresses, I'd be tempted to sue. Fair enough. Old Orphan says, because we don't care what we look like. We being men. Yeah, that's the thing. Love him or hate him, and I know a lot of people hate Grums. But he was an old World of Blizzard dev who was outspoken against a lot of this. He thinks it's, you know, maybe I won't say this, or I'll save it for later. New Game Plus says this cutscene looks so wrong at night instead of sunset. Yeah, it should have been sunset. Why'd they do that? Eamon says, the eyes of Faye aren't even the same shape as her actress. That's true. Yeah. But if Kojima hired that actress, he would have nearly put... Yeah, that's another thing. People were sharing from Kojima's games and how it's like, wow, that actress looks exactly like the model. Gerudo has reached the hidden Arbiter's grounds, aka the Shadow Temple. Okay, so I'll say what Grum said. Grum's basically said that it's usual. He thinks that, like, Kojima, he's in complete creative control of his games. Whereas, like, in these other studios, Grum, I don't know if it's true, but Grum's is claiming that it's basically women designers making other women look this way. As a sort of competitive thing. Again, I don't know if that's true, but that's his claim to it. I did not make that claim on X. I think that the Faye like, yes, you can say that the Faye character model doesn't look like the voice actress. I don't think it has to. I think this kind of trend of voice actors needing to look like their characters is kind of a faulty one. I don't think that needs to happen. Come here. Come here, bug. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, what? Do I need the bug net? Oh, whatever. I'll catch it later. See, this guy says, I'd say the Dark Tribe, aka Proto-Sheikah, was split into the Sheikah and the Twilight. Yeah, I like that theory. I know. I called T-Bone. He said it's okay. I can call him Tim. There is no Concord in Ba Sing Se. I love that. Man, that was peak Avatar, that storyline. The Ba Sing Se arc. Peak Avatar right there. I both loved and hated the way that arc ended. But loved and hated in a good way. Concord equals SCP-055. What does that mean? Tim says, yeah, the trend of making women characters in-game come in more than just one size and shape. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, they've been doing that for men the whole time. Oops. Ugh, dang it. No. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? I mean, look at this game. This game has plenty of different characters of different shapes and sizes, both men and women. I think there is a point though where it could get ridiculous. Like part of the okay, like there's like the whole body positivity movement too, and it's like when you have a game like Concord where these hero shooters where these are supposed to be soldiers who know how to fight and can run and jump and do all these acrobatics, and then you have a clearly morbidly obese character. It's kind of like a kind of shoot. This is supposed to be on a bridge, right? Oh, did I guess right? Or like, there was another hero shooter game that was coming out, and one character, again, was another like morbidly obese character doing all sorts of acrobatics and things like that. And again, it's fine in like a cartoony sense, but I don't know. You can't have both realism in a game and not realism. I mean, you can, but it's tricky. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just a simple matter of just doing whatever you want. You have to create a world with some basic rules in place, and figuring out what the audience buy-in is for suspending their disbelief can be really, really tricky. Oh, that's what I'm not sure I have a problem with. What, the morbidly obese thing? Reminds me of Devil May Cry 5, where they had a voice actor on one side and the character was modeled after a completely different actor. Well, yeah, that's my point. My point is, I think my point is, it is being taken too far. in some instances, in the name of, that's what I'm. We've talked about this before, how it's like heavy-handed messaging can turn people away from things, and I do think that in almost every area you can run into that. All right, we're definitely not gonna do this now, but I just want to go down here. Your power is a gift, the only great fairy in this game. Like, I mean, when it comes to the like different, when it comes to another aspect of it, it's one thing if you're introducing a completely new character. Like that's you know, that's also fine. That doesn't look the way you think they should look. It's a completely new character, let them look the way they should. That's totally fine. But when you take an existing character and then change it, that I think is akin to the same issue that you have with taking an existing protagonist and swapping them out. When you change the way a beloved character looks drastically, you're going to run into that same problem that people are like, hey, I liked the way the character looked, or my brain is telling me that this is not the same character even though you're telling me it is. You're gonna run into that no matter what. And I don't think that's an issue with anyone's cultural or political takes. That just, you know, it's the whole parasocial relationship thing. It's like, Link looks a particular way. He's always looked a particular way. If he looked different in the next game, drastically different, some people would be upset about that. They'd be like, hey, that's not Link. You're telling me it's Link, but it's not. That's what happened with the whole Mary Jane character. It wasn't just that they made her less conventionally attractive. It's just she looks completely different in between Spider-Man 1 and 2. I'm just trying to provide a more nuanced conversation, rather than like all of these people are misogynistic or all these people are just woke idiots. That's like, there are reasons why a lot of these changes irk people the way that they do, and it's some of the reasons why are completely reasonable. and some of the reasons why the changes should be made, I think, you know, you can make a strong argument for why some of these changes are completely reasonable and good. You just have to make that argument and not just automatically assume that everyone sees things the way you do. Which, again, applies to myself and exactly what I'm saying right now, so... Am I quiet? I'm like, I notice I'm like creeping farther and farther away from the mic. Maybe it's because I'm like subconsciously worried that what I'm going to say is going to offend people. I'm like retreating back into the into my garage. Old Wolfman says, I feel like there should be a point of a game is to be able to do things as whatever you play that you wouldn't ordinarily do walking out the door. Oh, I'm good. Okay. There are people that would be offended. Yes, exactly. There are people who would be offended either way, and yes, total realism is the idea that realism breeds immersion is called the immersive fallacy. It's the whole like character design thing. Character designs, if you try to make them too realistic, means they're not. Sorry, I'm waiting for bird o'clock to be over. Means they're not really memorable in a particular way, or it's harder to make them memorable. Whereas if you have a character whose character design doesn't, you know, might not make sense in a realistic setting, like, then they become memorable. Like, okay, so like Link, for example, it's pretty well known at this point in time that characters, like historically, swordsmen very rarely had a sword across their back and drew it that way because the sword is too long. They can't do it. But it looks really cool. So we put it in the game. It's not realistic, but it looks cool. Also, to your point, Old Wolfman, you know, it brings up the whole like escapism thing, which again, if you've been following me for a while and you know my take on stories and fantasy with regards to Tolkien's view on fairy stories, escapism is not a bad thing. It can become bad if you don't do your responsibilities. But escapism in and of itself to Tolkien was almost like something to be sought after, so that it could better improve your view of the real world. So yes, or again, Fleekazoid put it, photorealism was saying you have photorealistic graphics is just another way of saying you want everything in your game to look like every other game. Again, it removes any kind of like artisticness to the art design, or it can. I don't know how I'm going to clip this episode. I feel like I should just go in and just edit out anything that doesn't have to do with this and put up really long clips. Also, like, I'll say this again, like, please feel free to disagree with me. I don't ever want to be audience captured. Even though it's like, even with a small audience, sometimes I think about, like, will people agree with me or not? most of what something I've had to accept doing this, it's a lot of the times, I'd say many times, I'm just rambling on here. It's just you're getting a train of thought, and you know, I have to be responsible for what I say, for sure. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's totally unreasonable to be like, yeah, I said this in a live stream when I was rambling on about it and processing it. But after thinking about it, I've changed my view. I don't think that that's unreasonable as well. You know, because sometimes when you talk out loud about something and you hear input from other people like you guys, you know, I could change my view on things. Why am I pushing this? Oh, that's right. Snipe. I snipe this guy. Oh, there's another guy. Anybody else? It's completely okay to talk about it and not have a set view. I agree. I think the problem, though, is with the internet, changing your view on things is like not acceptable. Everybody knows, especially if you're a prominent YouTuber or have a lot of views. If you change your view on something, you immediately get met with like the grifter accusation, or you didn't really believe it to begin with. It's really, really unfortunate, and it's something in the online discourse that I think is extremely unhealthy, because it you know, it's probably one of the most negative things about social media. Not the most, but definitely is. It's just that people feel that they can't ever change their viewpoints on things, so they dig themselves into holes. And that's not necessarily on the person changing the view. It's also on how the audience responds. There's so little grace online for having the wrong opinion that it's like you're not allowed to change your mind. It's like once you voice an opinion, you have to stick with it. Otherwise, you're a grifter. I get to fight the big guy now. Oh, they killed one of their pigs and ate it. Anyway. Got about 15 minutes left. Let's talk about something not so serious. The Arbiter's grounds. How about them Arbiter's grounds? I always liked how they put those in Breath of the Wild and just kind of left it there. It's just like a complete ruins. I love how Breath of the Wild did that. Just put little like Easter eggs in and just left you to wonder like what happened. I think this is the last time you fight him, right? Oh, what a jerk. Ow. He seems smaller. That was easy. No Rest for the Wicked got a 1.0 launch date. October this year. Cool. Oh, how did he get there? He was shot out of the cannon? That was 3 hearts of damage. Yeah, he did do a lot of damage to me. It's a good thing I ended it quickly. Yeah. This place is cool. Oh, we get to see the cutscene where Ganondorf kills the Sage of Water. Does that mean he killed, does that mean he killed Ruto? Right? Because are these the same sages as the sages from Ocarina of Time that we're gonna hear about? Hmm? Spoilers, everyone. Ganondorf's the big bad guy. Ow. Alright, we'll start the Arbiter's grounds, and then we'll have to call it a day. Man, I'm sick of not having enough. I'm not doing any side quests, so maybe I'm missing the wallet that I need. Funny enough, Ganon has a habit of killing sages. In Wind Waker, he has Fado, the Sage of Wind, and Laruta, the Sage of Earth, killed. Wait. Fado, the Sage of Wind? In Wind Waker? I don't remember that. I don't remember him killing sages in Wind Waker. What part of the game is that? Little graboids. We need Bert. Oh, I like these little guys. Little imps. Raises a lot of questions as to what this race... Are these... are these, Picori giants? Picori I was gonna call them Picori, but they're too small. They're too big. Uh-oh. Oh no! What a horrible way to die. Ugh, just start from back here? Jeez. rabbit. Ha. Oops. I'm smart. Wearing the iron boots on the sand. You guess what happens? I want to try it. So I'm gonna need some scoop. Yeah. Oh no, it's the scarabs from the mummy. Be gone. That was horrifying the first time I saw it as a kid, the mummy. And the scarab digs into the guy's brain. Apparently they're making another one with Brendan Fraser. Hopefully it will be better than the last one. Yeah, I like Brendan Fraser. That first Mummy movie is a classic. Just a fun action adventure movie. He got blacklisted? Brendan Fraser? What'd he do? Hey, Zeltroid. How's it going, man? Just 100% this game for the first time last night. You enjoying it? You 100%ed it? You found all the pose? I'm enjoying this game immensely. It makes me it made me sad that Nintendo didn't go with the whole art design of this game in its follow-up games. Since you can transform into beast, this guy is nothing. Why can't I hit him? Ow. Oh, there we go. Zeltroid, what'd you think about the new Star Fox game coming out? I thought of you when I saw that. I was like, oh man, I know a pro Star Fox player. Eamon says, yep, you should look up the story. It's pretty dark, but of course it's on par with how Hollywood works. Oh, that's a bummer. For Brendan Fraser. Yep, all pose, all stamps, all items, all bugs, and did Cave of Shadows, which was hard. Yeah, I remember being hard. I completed it once as a child, and I had never completed it again. I don't think I say child. This game came out when I was a teenager. Oh man, there's all this Gerudo script around. I want to translate it. Look at that. All right, that's the Gerudo script. Sniff. How long did that take you? Because again, when I played this as a younger person, I didn't get all the pose. That was the only thing I didn't do. I think it was because in this game they don't mark areas off that have like all the pose gone. So you just kind of have to, I think you just have to kind of trust where they are. And I'm not sure if the fortune teller tells you where they are. I don't know. Come on. Okay. Seltroid says, I hate the character designs and a little skeptical about the voice acting, but I love everything else about it. The visuals are gorgeous and the sound design is amazing. I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah, some of the character designs I really don't like, but I appreciate the Link character model, Midna, Zelda, a lot of the enemies, but some of the NPCs just look weird. Like, really weird, and I don't know why they decided to make them look the way they do. Like the Zoras. I think the Zoras and the Gorons have some great detail to them that I wish they kept up with. That doesn't mean I don't like Breath of the Wild's character designs. I'm just saying I appreciate a lot of the detail here in a lot of the characters. Oh, you're talking about Star Fox character designs? Okay, sorry. I did bring that up. I did bring up two games. Yeah, Tim picked up on it. Okay, so you were on the camp of, yeah, because that was the other big controversy of the new Star Fox game was, do you like the character designs? I thought they were fine. I didn't really have a strong opinion either way. I kind of liked the throwback to the original like puppets, but you know. To me, the greatest character designs for the Star Fox series came from Smash Brothers. But I never played Star Fox Zero. So. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, it's a re-dead. The character designs reminded me of Wes Anderson's The Fantastic Mr. Fox, that movie. You ever see that movie? Zeltra says, I think I did Cave of Shadows on my 4th try, so not too bad. I was so close on my 3rd try, though. Literally on the last 3 enemies and died. It was BS way. You have to fight a lot of Dark Knots, I think. Can you get the magic armor before doing the Cave of Shadows, or do you have to do it after? I can't remember. I don't think I've fought a Dark Knot yet in this game. Dark Knot, whatever you call them. Okay, we got one. Got that one. Cave of Shadows is entirely in wolf form, so no items allowed. Oh, really? I don't remember that. Oh, man. Wow, it has been a long time since I played this game. Because I remember making it to the not dark fairy. I remember making it to the great fairy at some point. So I must have done it. One of the other risque character designs in Twilight Princess. Oh, wait. Cave of Shadows is Wii U only. Oh, it says I didn't do it then. What am I thinking of? There's... How do you get... There's the cave I went into earlier, outside. Cave of Ordeals. Ah, okay, okay. I see, I see. So yes, I've never done that. I'll have to do it. Eamon says, oh, did everyone pick up the free copy of Gravity Circuit? The devs are giving away their first game as a promo to their sequel announcement. No, everyone go pick up Gravity Circuit. Support indie devs. I saw you post about that. I must have missed the part where you said it was free. I like free stuff. Alright. Okay, guys. Unfortunately, it is that time again. Sorry, Zeltroid. I know you just joined. But gotta take care of the kiddos. They got swim lessons at 8 o'clock. Yes. Covered some contentious topics today in today's stream. I hope the dialogue is always fun. But yeah, we'll see how I clip it. Zeltroid says, yeah, you gotta try the Cave of Shadows. That would be entertaining on stream. Need an amiibo for it, though. I use an amiibo card. Oh, I missed it. Imagine that. Bonko didn't read something. It's hard, okay? Maybe they have... Let's see. Maybe they have some sort of thing here that I can get the Cave of Shadows. Cheats, Infinite Hearts... Claw Shot. Fast Spinner. No. Gameplay. Mirror Mode. Minimal HUD. Damage Multiplier. Instant Death. No, nothing on the Cave of Shadows. I don't know. Maybe in another update they'll do that. Yeah, I mean, I imagine Dusk would let me play it without it. I just gotta find it, so... Yeah, Dusk definitely did not update these videos. The graphics here are pretty rough. But yeah, thanks for joining, just to say hi. Sorry it's the end of the stream, Zeltroid, but it's good to see you again. Hope your new life, I know you were telling me about some life changes. Hope those are going well. It's the one thing that they haven't added this mod yet. Yeah, they will. But yeah, New Game Plus, Seek the Sky, Tim, Old Wolfman, Eamon, as always, is fun. Hopefully maybe we'll see where this dialogue goes online. I'll probably just die out eventually. And then we'll move on to get angry about something else. I like this epic music here. Hang on, let me see. Did I change my full screen talk? Yes. Okay, good. Alright, guys. This was fun. We'll continue with Twilight Princess tomorrow. What's today? Can't remember. Thursday. So yes, we'll do some more Twilight Princess tomorrow, and next week we'll switch it up between Twilight Princess and another game. So I'm still debating as to what that will be. But yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow.